My name is Dan Folkman.
I'm Elsie Chang from NPR.
Oh, Elsie Chang.
How
I was
are
going to
you?
interview you about why you're here.
Oh, no.
Well, you're with NPR.
I'm with NPR.
Well, I'm streaming live right now.
Oh.
Would you like to stand up and just tell the audience that I'm streaming to, that what you're doing with NPR and that NPR is...
Well, we're planning a piece on sort of the gerrymandering, the case before the Supreme Court. We're talking to residents here, how they feel about redistricting. We met briefly with state senators Tim Cullen or former state senators Tim Cullen and Dale Schultz about how they've been bopping around from city to city talking to folks about why they think there needs to be fair redistricting. Yesterday we met with Fred Kessler, Assemblyman Fred Kessler. He showed us where he used to live and how he got drawn out of his district, and now his new place in District 12 where he had to live to be Assemblyman for District 12. So yeah, that's kind of what we're here. We're just really interested in watching the
stand up?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I thought this was only audio. See, I only think in radio. I don't think in TV.
Right. But from your point of view, you're here. What does this case look like from your point of view in terms of the impact we're going to have, not only on Wisconsin, but this thing's going to the Supreme Court?
It's going to the Supreme Court, yeah. It's a really important case. I mean, we've heard so much about race-based gerrymandering, and what was, for me, the most interesting issue that the justices have to decide is considering political factors in gerrymandering is not in and of itself unconstitutional, but the justices have to decide if there's a formula or a way to assess how much politics can enter gerrymandering. Is there a point where it's too much politics? And if so, if there is that point, how do you define that? How do you numerically define that? That sounds like a really, really hard decision to me. Of course, the folks here have their ideas on what that formula should be.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dan Folkman.
Hi,
I'm with
Chris Rockwood.
Chris. We're doing a live streaming on YouTube. And Chris, why don't you say a few words about what's going on here from your point of view, and what would you like to see happen?
Well, I'm here.
The camera's right over here.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm Chris Rockwood. I'm here because I'm deeply affected by gerrymandering. So I live in East Wauwatosa, where I used to be represented for years by David Cullen in the State Assembly. And then the 2011 redistricting brought us these terribly unfair lines that included my neighborhood with half of Brookfield in a gerrymandered assembly district that's somewhere between 55 and 62% Republican. And I was so unhappy about that I've run against Representative Dale Kooyenga twice in that district. And interestingly, today he just announced that he's running for state senate. So the district will be opening up, but with the Supreme Court case coming up, I'm hopeful that we'll even get new districts for next year. But
are you planning on running again next year?
I am seriously considering it, especially after today's announcements that Representative Kooyenga will be vacating the seat.
So say a few words about what your expectations would be. Say everything goes our way, and the Supreme Court says you've got to have fair election maps. How is that going to affect you as a potential candidate?
If everything goes our way and we in fact get new districts for next year's election, then we ought to have a district in which I am placed with a majority, or ideally entirely a district in which the majority or all the constituents are in Milwaukee County. And we need to keep together communities of interest, respect county lines, municipality lines where possible, and we ought to have a district where people have common interests. And frankly, today that's not what we have, with people living on 60th Street in Wauwatosa in the same district with people living on Springdale Road out on the western edge of Brookfield. There are not a lot of shared interests between those communities. So I'm hopeful that we'll get new districts. I'm hopeful the Supreme Court will rule as we would like and order that we get new districts redrawn for next year. But with today's announcement that Representative Kooyenga will be vacating the district, right now I have to decide whether to run against him, regardless of whether we might get a new district. And I've been fighting the good fight twice against him in that district, and might do it again.
Let's hope
But
for the best. That we can
let's hope for the best, but importantly, let's hope that we get a fair redistricting process for everybody in Wisconsin. This isn't about me. This is about fair maps for everybody, where people choose their legislators instead of legislators choosing their voters. And here we have former Republican State Senator Dale Schultz, who agrees that we ought to have a fair process for redistricting.
me
So
see if I can-
I thank him very much for being here.
Well, we'll hear from him, I
right.
think, shortly.
All right.
All right. Thank you
Thank
very
you, Dan.
much, folks. We're going to now get ready for the program.